Okay, so how do we do consequences well? That's a question I get a lot with parents who maybe grow up with only consequences, punishment, and they know that how much it hurts them and they don't want to do it to their kids. But they also don't know what else to do. They're like, okay, my kids are not listening to me. They are saying mean things to me, and I don't think that is right. I want to teach them the right things, but I don't know how to do it without doing punishments and consequences, right? Consequences are usually a code word for punishment. And I want you to switch your thinking, to shift your mindset into thinking consequences as a valid tool, but don't overuse it and don't disguise punishments as consequences. They're two different things. And let me talk to you about this. There are two things that I would talk to my clients about when it comes to consequences. One is natural consequences. That's consequences that don't require you to do anything but to step away and observe the situation, right? For example, if they're younger and they choose not to wear shoes, they might get, their feet hurt a little bit, or they don't wear a coat, they might get cold, right? So your job when that happens is to say, well, it's cold outside. If you choose not to bring a coat, you might get cold. And obviously, it's not using that for anything that might be life-threatening, like letting them walk across the street without looking, right? But there's a place for it to teach your kids to make choices and learn from the consequences of their choices. If you don't come in with like, I told you so, kind of adding the punishment, the blaming, the shaming into it, right? I'm like, oh, yeah, that's really hard when it's cold and you don't have a coat, huh? So part of it is the natural consequences. If they don't do their homework, they will have to deal with explaining it to their parents, to their teachers, and they might get low grade on their core classes. There might be consequences that go with it, but you as a parent, you kind of try to get that balance where how far you want them to learn from their natural consequences. So that's one thing. The second thing is logical consequences, and a lot of parenting experts have said that use this just like salt and seasoning in your cooking, very moderately and with intention. So with logical consequences, the idea is that you need to, if you have used other things like collaboration, cooperation, coaching, and things are not changing much, and you feel like, okay, this is the time to use consequences, then the logical consequences need to meet these criteria. One, it needs to be reasonable, right? Two, it needs to be related to the behavior for it to be the most effective. And three, it needs to be respectful, right? It should not have any blaming, shaming, or inflicting pains on your child. And four, it needs to be communicated clearly beforehand. For example, if my kids are getting up late and making us late for school, then I would say, if you are gonna get up late, then I think I'm gonna move your bedtime up because it seems like you need more sleep. So it's related to the behavior. It's reasonable. I'm just gonna move it up maybe half an hour instead of saying you're going to bed at 7 p.m. for the rest of your life. No, right? I say, we're gonna try to move it up a little bit and see how it goes for a week. So it's reasonable and it's communicated ahead of time. We're starting it tonight. See how it's go, right? So again, logical consequences and natural consequences could be part of your toolkit. But again, it should not be the only thing that you will turn to, the only tool or the first tool that you turn to. It's kind of the last resort if you have tried cooperation, collaboration, and coaching, and for some reason it's not working, then you could consider it. But it's also, you need to be intentional and respectful with those consequences.